Hello, my name is Joshua Luckett, and today I am going to be covering how to swing a driver, the largest and arguably most common type of golf club. To explain and to teach the act of swinging a driver, the learning style of operant conditioning will be used fundamentally, and it'll be used in two main ways. It'll be used in positive reinforcement and positive punishment. The positive punishment, which will probably be the one that most people experience, will occur when the swing does not happen properly. When you swing a golf club, a lot of things can go wrong, especially things that are common with beginners, and more examples of that will be covered later in the video when I cover the mistakes portion. But mistakes when swinging a golf club usually lead to very negative stimuli against the person practicing the swing, and they're things that you actively will want to avoid doing because you do not enjoy them as you swing. On the flip side of things, positive reinforcement will be used because hitting the ball successfully is its own reward, and you are successfully avoiding anything negative happening along the way. Hitting the ball, especially for new people who are learning to swing for the first time, is not a common practice, and as a result becomes intrinsically rewarding because you realize you've actually successfully completed the task. Next, I'll be taking things outside to show you both what you'll need to start as well as some of the basics of how to swing a golf club.
Hello again. So, we're outside. Now, before we get started with the act of actually swinging the club, you need three things, and you need to be in some specific places. So, first of all, you need a club, ideally a driver, as per what this video is about. You need a tee, and you need a ball. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be using an orange ping pong ball so that I don't hit a golf ball into my own house, but in practice, you're going to want to use a real golf ball. The final thing you're going to need is you're going to need flat ground and somewhere to hit your real golf ball into. The best place I can recommend for you is a driving range, but if you're standing on something like sand or grass near the edge of a lake, that works perfectly as well, and then you can just hit the ball into the field or the water. You want to make sure that there's no one in your direct path as you hit the ball. To learn how to properly break down swinging a golf club, we are going to divide things into three main parts. We're going to divide it into how and where to stand, how to hold the club, and then finally, and most importantly, the act of actually swinging the club through. The most important thing to remember as you swing a golf club, no matter what, is always keep your eyes on the ball. No looking away, no looking at yourself, no looking at the club, don't look where you want to shoot it. Watch the ball the entire time. If you are not looking at the ball as you swing, you're way more likely to miss it as you swing. Once you have flat ground, your club, your tee, and your ball, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to learn how to line up to the ball. So, what you're going to do is you're going to take your tee and your ball, and you're going to place them in the ground somewhere so that the top or middle of the ball lines up with the top of the driver so that they align as such. I will move closer, as such. And then you're going to stand with your leading foot. If you're right-handed, your leading foot will be your left foot. You're going to stand with that foot aimed directly pointed at the ball with your legs shoulder length apart. Alright, now that you're standing properly with your feet both aimed forward, nice shoulder width apart, what we're going to do is we're going to cover how to hold the club. So, at the end of the driver is a rubber handle on the shaft. Roughly in the middle of the handle, you're going to hold it with two hands, and then you're going to interlock your pointing and your pinky fingers. Now, for those of you who are right-handed and you're swinging the club as most right-handed people do, your right hand is going to sit lower on the club. So lower as in closer to the head of the club. So it's going to be your right hand with its pinky finger into your left hand's pointing finger, and you're going to be holding the club as such. If you are left-handed, you're going to invert this, and your left hand is going to be farther down on the club, and your right hand and its pointing finger are going to connect with your pinky, and you'll hold the club as such, as if you were swinging to the left. Alright, so now that you know how to hold the club, and you've got the ball in front of you, we're going to line up the ball just like I said before. So we're going to line up with our leading foot. For right-handed people, it'll be your left foot. For left-handed people, it'll usually be your right foot. And it's going to line straight up with the ball. And then we're going to hold the club like normal, and we're going to let it rest down next to the ball. So the idea is there's a straight line from your shoulder, the end of your wrist, the end of the club, straight down, aligned with right behind the ball. For a quick side view for everyone, what this would look like from the side is you're standing like such. Now, the key here is wherever your feet are both aimed, so say you take your club, you put it down on your feet, wherever you see that club aimed is where you're going to end up hitting the golf ball. So, what you want to do, and this is easier for me to show from the side, is you want to bend your knees slightly, hold the club as per before, your arms out and away from your body, and the head of the club behind the ball. Now what you're going to do is you're going to bend your knees just a bit, and you're going to arch your back, let's say maximum 20 degrees, as such. Now, once you're comfortable in this position, you'll be ready to start practicing your swing. Now that we've covered how to stand and how to hold the club, we're going to do both of those things. We're going to line ourselves right up, and we're ready to start practicing our swing. So, with the head of the club, down right behind the ball, what we're going to do is we're going to start getting used to moving the club around. So, as the club comes up, what's going to happen is two main things. Your wrists are going to bend, and your shoulders are going to bend. And then while those things are happening, your back elbow, depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed, is going to bend as well. So in a full motion, it'll look like this. Now, what you guys are going to do is you're going to go 1 foot by 1 foot. So 1 foot back, try a swing, will knock the ball off the club, off the tee. Then, once you're comfortable doing that, you're going to go 2 feet up. And you're going to try again, and then up to 3 feet, and again. I'm also going to show you the same exact swing from the side, just so that you guys have a sense of what it looks like in three-dimensional space. So we're lined up, arms out, club comes back, and it goes down through. Now to cover some of the most common mistakes and challenges people face when trying to swing a golf club. So, one of the most common things is people will say, my club is either hitting the ground or swinging and missing the ball entirely. Now usually this happens for two main reasons. Usually, as you're doing the swing, what happens is you're either standing up or crouching down as the swing happens. So, if you pull back, if your club's hitting the ground, what you're often doing is you are squatting as you do the swing, and your club hits the ground. If you're swinging and it's hitting air, the opposite happens. You're standing down, ready to go, and then as you swing, you stand up, and your club swings and misses the air. The other important thing that might be contributing to both of these factors is the length of the club. Now, if you look at the end of a club, you'll notice that there's essentially a top to it. If it's tipped in one way or another, you might need to choke up or choke down on the club. An example of choking up or choking down would be to move your hands up or down on the grip. If you're finding yourself hitting the ground quite frequently, you might need to choke up so that there's less distance on the shaft between your hands and the end of the club. Vice versa, if you're hitting the air, the club might be a little short for you. This all depends on your height, how high or how low you're standing as you swing the club, and naturally sometimes the length of your arms as well. Another common complaint is people say they think it would be easier to hit the ball if it was directly between their feet instead of aligned with their front foot. This is an incredibly common problem that a lot of people have, but when the dust settles, the point is when the ball is in front of your left foot, that is the ideal way for the end of the driver to hit the ball. If it's aligned perfectly straight, it's got an upwards facing slant and it's going to hit the ball up and away. If it was directly between your legs, you'd end up with a steeper angle and the ball would usually not go as far or hit the ground in the process. Some other clubs involve the use of swinging with the ball starting between your legs, but the driver is always aligned with your front foot.
Hello again, and welcome to the end of this video. Just to reiterate, the examples of negative reinforcement used were hitting the ground and swiping the air. Both of those actions are incredibly uncomfortable for the person swinging the club, and as a result become forms of punishment that the person actively tries to avoid so that they don't happen again. And, in turn, hitting the ball is its own reward. The task is not easy, the goal is to successfully hit the ball. Thank you for listening through this whole video, and like I've said many times throughout this video, keep your eye on the ball as you practice your swing.